The production of speech and its errors. Welcome back to the podcast. Last time we explored the brain's hardware for language, Broca's and Wernicke's areas. Today we're diving into the process itself, speech production, the amazing ability to convert an abstract thought into a linear stream of sound. Linguists and psycholinguists study this process by analyzing when it breaks down. These breakdowns, commonly known as slips of the tongue, are not random errors. They are invaluable clues that reveal the structured, step-by-step nature of how we form words and sentences. They are what we call inadvertent errors. We didn't intend to say them, but they tell us exactly what happens inside our head. Section 1. Categories of speech errors. There are several systematic types of speech errors that occur. They all involve a unit, whether it's a sound, a morpheme, or a word, being added, deleted, or substituted during the speech process. The main types include anticipations. This is when a later unit replaces an earlier one. For example, intending to say splicing one tape, but actually saying splicing one lape. Perseverations. Here, an earlier unit replaces a later one, intending to say clear blue sky but saying clear blue sky. Substitutions. A unit is replaced by another. For example, saying it's cold in here instead of it's dark in here. Malapropisms. This is a specific type of word substitution. It happens when a speaker retrieves an incorrect word that sounds similar to the intended one. For instance, instead of saying spreading like wildflowers, the speaker says spreading like wild loafers. This shows the mental lexicon is organized not just by meaning, but also by sound. Metathesis. This involves two units being exchanged, like saying Flutian shrimp instead of Flutian slip. What's crucial is that these errors tend to occur on units of the same type. Two function words will swap, two content words will swap, or two phonemes will swap. This suggests that the brain processes different linguistic units, like syntax, content, and sound, in separate stages. Section 2. Errors and the mental lexicon. The consistency of these errors provides powerful insights into the organization of our mental lexicon, which is essentially our mental dictionary. For example, when studying errors involving the morphology, that is, the rules for combining morphemes, the smallest meaningful units like un or s, we see that the rules for pluralizing nouns and conjugating verbs are applied correctly, even in the error. If someone intended to say cooked a roast, they might slip and say roasted a cook. Notice that ed is still attached to the verb and s is still attached to the noun, even though the words have been exchanged. This proves that morphological rules are part of our overall language competence and are organized systematically. Furthermore, research into speech errors tells us that the brain's internal monitoring system is constantly checking and correcting. We often catch ourselves or even stop an error before we complete it. This monitoring is not just based on the sound we hear, but also on what we intend to say and the constraints of language. For example, studies have shown that speakers are less likely to produce a slip that would result in a taboo-sounding word. Section 3. Slips and Sign Language. It's fascinating to note that these systematic errors are not limited to spoken languages. They also occur in sign languages, like American Sign Language. The fact that sign language, which is visual and spatial, exhibits errors that are systematic and linguistically logical tells us that the structure of language in the brain is abstract, not tied solely to the sound. The errors in sign language involve the substitution or exchange of physical parameters like location, where the sign is performed, like the face or chest, Hand shape, the configuration of the fingers. Movement, the action of the hands. Hand orientation, the direction the palm faces. In one example, intending to sign the phrase must see, the sign for must might take on the hand shape or movement of the following sign, see. In another, intending to sign father, girl, the location of articulation for girl might be mistakenly produced at the forehead, which is the location for father. These movement metathesis errors show that sign language users organize their language units, just like phonemes and speech, into a sine wave parameters. The study of speech production errors, both in speech and sign, consistently demonstrates that language processing is modular and proceeds in a series of organized steps, reinforcing the models we discussed earlier, like Fromkins and Levelts. So, the next time you hear yourself or someone else make a slip of the tongue, remember that it's more than just a momentary mistake. It's a tiny, powerful window into the astonishingly complex and organized machine that is the human language system. These errors are not random. They are evidence of the precise stage-by-stage process our brains undertake to turn thought into communication. Thank you for listening.